Matt, when we were at practice, Jair just was running around without a helmet. Did he do anything with helmet on, or was it just limited to that stuff we saw?
Yeah, no, he did just the individual. He was having some issues with his helmet, so he didn't. He hasn't put it on in a while. So we had to get that rectified.
Do you get Devondre back in the building today, or is it possible?
No, we will not get him back today.
Do you think he'll be back tomorrow? Or is there some concern?
No, I think he'll be back. I can't remember if he comes back tomorrow or Saturday. Yeah, I think it's tomorrow, and then, but he's, he won't be out at practice tomorrow. He's got to go through, at least if I remember correctly, he's got to go through the protocol of that.
Are you guys in some sort of protocol with you wearing a mask right now?
I just want to look like you, Rob.
No one has ever said that.
I'm going to shave my head next. Yeah, so I was a close contact on Monday. So it is what it is.
So assuming Drake passes through the protocol, you still hope he can play on Sunday night?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, Matt, you touched on Robert Quinn a little bit yesterday, but what do you attribute kind of that spike in his production this year? What stands out about what he's done for them in this defense?
Well, I think Robert's always played at a really high level. Going back to even prior to our time together in LA, I just think the one thing that really shows up on the tape is just the effort that he displays on every snap. I mean, he's relentless, and I think the other guys feed off that. I think, it's a really good scheme, and he's surrounded by some other really good players. So I think he's made the most of his one-on-one opportunities, and like I said, he just has a motor that doesn't stop.
As many benefits as there are to the bye week, are there any challenges that come after the bye week, just kind of like getting the guys refocused and back into the group of football?
No, I think we got a pretty mature team. I know a lot's been said about our record coming out of bye. I think every year is a little bit different. The circumstances are different, and we're just trying to put every day, make sure that our preparation's on point, that we go out there and we have great practices, because I'm a firm believer, and if you have good practices, then you're going to go out there and it's going to benefit you in the game. Now, we've been around enough where you've had bad weeks of practices and you go out and play great, and you've had great weeks of practices and you don't put it together. So we just got to make sure that we're doing everything in our power every minute that we're in this building to prepare the right way. Obviously, we know we have a team that's going to be coming in here that's highly motivated and is a damn good team. So we're going to have to play our best.
Matt, we're going to talk to Marquez a little bit later. I'm just curious, since he's been back and, when he's healthy, just how different is that look as far as what the defenses are giving you, when you have his threat, back on the field for this offense?
Yeah, well, he's got rare speed. So I think that's something that from a defensive perspective, you've got to account for. And I think, you saw it a couple weeks ago in the Viking game, just his big play ability. So, that's a guy that we certainly want to have on the field as much as we can.
Matt, you talked before about how much Rasul competes in practice every day. You also mentioned how competitive the DBs get with like the quizzes and tests and stuff in their meeting room. Is his competitiveness do you see it in that realm as well, the classroom part of it?
Yeah, I think it's a great group of guys. I mean, I can say that about everybody on this roster, just the character of our roster. And then you go into that room, and I think, like I said earlier, Jerry and RD and Justin Hood have created such a great culture within that room. And, we always talk about competition, bringing out your best. And so you try to be creative and find different ways for these guys to compete, to be at their best. And certainly Rasul's brought that competitive edge to that room as well.
Hey, Matt, in what areas would you like to see your running game better? Are there some situational things where you just felt like going over them in the bye, you thought you could be better?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in every facet, just, with a lot of our combination blocks and making sure that, we haven't had a ton of explosive runs. I was looking at just kind of our statistics earlier today, and in regards to just whether it's inside zone, outside zone, and there's definitely within the framework of certain schemes that we can improve upon. And then I think a big area where we can improve is down in the red zone. I think that would lead to us being better in the red zone, and we've just haven't had the same run efficiency as we've had maybe in the past.
I think Aaron led the league in 40-yard runs last year, for example, and I think maybe has one this year. Is that kind of does that change the dynamic in your offense when you got a guy who can do that a couple times a year?
Heck yeah! I mean, anytime you get explosive plays, you're so much. The probability of you scoring is, a lot higher. So certainly we're going to try to hunt and find different ways to create explosives. And I know we have the backs to get it done. I think, like I said, it really takes everybody to get that done. Obviously, it starts up front, winning the line of scrimmage, with your O-line, your tight ends. And then a lot of those big blocks that spring backs in this league come on the second and third level from the wide receivers. And we got a lot of confidence in those guys that they put their heart and soul into owning their responsibility. But, like I said, it just takes everybody to get it done.
Let's go to Zoom. Sarah, go ahead.
Yep, we have two. We'll start with Ryan Wood.
Hey, Matt, first of all, just want to make sure that I heard you correctly. You said that you were looking at your stats today, so you do look at stats.
Yeah, I do, Ryan. Thanks for clarifying.
I'm just curious, when you look at Marquez, for someone with that rare speed that you talk about, who is coming off a hamstring injury, is it harder for someone who relies on so much on that speed to come back from that type of injury? Do you think that might have something to do with why he just hasn't been able to put it together consistently yet this year?
Well, I think any time you look at any position, just when you miss time, I think for most guys, it takes a second to kind of get reacclimated into the offense and get going. And then, what do you do with those opportunities? It's not just all on one person to get that done. So it takes everybody on the offense to get him going. And I don't think he's had any long-lasting effects from that hamstring injury. I think he looks good right now. He's running fast. We saw that again a couple weeks ago. And just because the ball doesn't always go his way doesn't mean he's not making a huge difference out on the field.
And last one, Greg Matzik.
Hey Matt, are you getting what you want out of your return units, both punts and kickoff? And if not, have you been able to pinpoint some of the reasons why you're not getting what you want?
Well, I think you always want more. And you can pinpoint a reason why any play, whether it's a punt return, kick return, anything offensively, defensively, you can pinpoint something on every play typically. So we'll continue to work at the little details and making sure that, our guys are giving great effort. I think that's where it starts, is just making sure that everybody's doing their 111th out there. And then, you just got to hopefully, make somebody miss or whatever to create an explosive play in the return game.
Thank you, guys.
Is there any chance that Cobb's injuries long-term? And then if he's not available, is Amari Rogers ready to fill that, or do you have guys ahead of him still who can fill that slot position and give you what Randall might?
Yeah, Cobby's going to be out for a while. He had a pretty significant injury, so that's unfortunate because I thought he has done such an amazing job when given the opportunity. I think a lot of we're talking about just his targets on third down alone. He was 8 of 10 when he got targeted of converting first downs. So, and that's just in the normal field. But yeah, it's going to be it's really everybody, and that can change on a weekly basis. But we'll use Allen in there a little bit. We'll use EQ's been playing really well, as of late, and not only on offense but on special teams as well. And then we'll continue to move Devontae around and put him in there a little bit. But as far as Amari's concerned, I think Amari's he's a young player and he's still growing and he's going to get better. And we got a lot of high expectations for him to continue to grow and develop. And I do think he'll get more opportunity.